Hello and welcome back to another build up to Godzilla video. I first want to show off this cool new shirt I got. Godzilla. Just got in the mail today. Kind of disappointed though, not in the shirt. I was happy to finally get this in, but I ordered Attack on Titan 4, the fourth book, and that was supposed to come in on Saturday. It's still not in, so when I got this before it, I was kind of just like, oh, that's a bummer, because I'm really into that manga right now, and the anime also, but it was nice to finally get this in. I also have a decal, Godzilla decal, that I'm hopefully going to get for my car really soon. Hopefully that'll get in, but that one said it could not even, it could show up in like till late May. But whatever. I'm just looking forward to my manga coming in. I also have an Attack on Titan necklace coming in also, but that's not the point of this video. This is a build up to Godzilla video. So, there's the shirt again. It's him roaring. Godzilla. Anyways, moving on. Now this movie I'm going to review, it's actually a South Korean kaiju film. It's kind of an interesting one. Korean films, the ones I've seen at least, they're more weird. They're subtly weird though. They're not as weird as like Japanese movies where they're just like absolutely crazy constantly. These ones are more subtly weird, where I think that's actually weirder than Japanese movies, because Japanese movies, they just go completely insane. But with these ones, they're more of just, they're very level. They're very just level, but they're very weird in that sense. Like if you've ever seen The Host, you'll know what I mean. And if you've seen this movie that I'm going to talk about, Yongary, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about. This is a double pack, comes with Konga. I might talk about Konga later, but I'm not entirely sure. Konga's pretty bad, so I'm not sure if it's worth talking about. I'm going to read the plot details on the back of this real quick. A slumbering terror wakes to rain destruction in this monstrously thrilling tale when the epicenter of a series of strange earthquakes seems to be moving straight for Seoul. Korean officials send a mission to find the cause. If I pronounce Seoul wrong, I'm very sorry. But all the questions disappear when a gigantic reptilian beast emerges from the ground in a rage and being stirred by the workings of man. Unchecked, Yongary will destroy all of Korea, but how can anyone hope to stop such an incredible primal force? So, what do I think of Yongary? It's pretty good. It's not great, but it's not that bad either. It's just pretty good. It's not top tier kaiju film. I wouldn't even say it's on par with Gorgo. It's definitely one of the lower level ones, but one of the lower level ones, they're still very solidly entertaining, and just not that bad. I've seen some really bad kaiju films, and I will actually talk about one that relates to Yongary. That's actually the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Some of you may know what I'm talking about. And according to my research, Yongary, when it was released theatrically in the US, was renamed Reptilian. I don't know why. Because the name of the monster is Yongary. Maybe it's because of the reptilian beast, but whatever. But that's the plot of the movie, and it also follows this one kid. I don't know what's up with giant monster movies involving kids in them. Pacific Rim did have a kid in it, which was nice. I mean, it's not a terrible thing, but whenever I see a kid in a kaiju film, it kind of just bothers me a little bit. Godzilla might have a kid in it, the new one, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be that big of a deal. It might be like he's just a side character, which I hope. And most giant monster movies, the kid is one of the leads, and that's the case for this one. And like I said, this is really, really weird. There's this one scene where Yongary and the kid start dancing. I'm not kidding, that actually happens. I saw that, and in my head it like kind of popped. I wasn't expecting that to happen. But other than that, it has good destruction. But the problem here is that like there's a lot of just dialogue of like, how are we going to destroy this? And unlike Godzilla, where it works because, you know, it can't really explain why the original Gojira did it so much better than this. But when you see it in this one, it just feels like needless padding, because the acting isn't as good as in Godzilla. The dubbing isn't really that well done. I mean, like, it's worse than most Godzilla movies. I don't know if it's just the actors, the dubbing actors, that just couldn't match it up, or like the people who were doing the scripts for the dubbing. just couldn't match it. Maybe, does this have... Well, it says subtitled in English, but none of the languages say Korean. So I don't think there might be a Korean dub which might sound better, but as of now, this sounds the way it sounds like a Godzilla movie, but worse when it's dubbed. And that says a lot, because even coming from me, Godzilla movies when they're dubbed sound pretty bad, and like I said, this one's actually worse. But it's not the worst kaiju film you'll ever see. It's actually it's solid enough as it is. It's worth adding to your collection if you're a fan of giant monster movies. The full title is Yongary, Monster from the Deep, I believe. And it's one of those weird, misunderstood monster tales. I mean, they don't really emphasize that until the very end. And I was just like, oh, they said that at the end. That's really stupid. That's unbelievably stupid. I can't believe they did that. Stupid kid. It's that kid who says it too, and I hate that kid. That kid is so annoying in this movie. The Host, actually, that was a movie that did kids well, and I would recommend The Host to anybody. The politics in it I might not 100% agree with, but The Host is still a solid horror movie. But back to Yongary. Yongary it's a Godzilla knockoff that tried. It's a little engine that could have tried, but it really didn't succeed. It's a little engine that could, but couldn't, if you know what I mean. They were trying so hard to make this a meaningful film, as with most movies, but they just missed it. It missed that thing that Godzilla has. It missed that thing that King Kong had. It even missed that thing that Gorgo had that made it entertaining. The problem is that, like, with Godzilla complemented the story. With King Kong, he also, like, the story complemented King Kong. And with Gorgo, they basically just had it where it's just like, hey, the monster's going to destroy things, have fun. But with this, it tried so hard to make it one or the other, but it's very unbalanced, where the other ones just said, Gorgo just said, destroy everything. This one, it's just, there's a lot of those blah moments, and you're just like, show Yongary again, come on, let's get back to Yongary. But I would still recommend it. It's not bad. Definitely worth adding to your kaiju collection if you're a fan of giant monster food movies like I am. It's better than Konga, and like I said, it's not the worst giant monster movie I've ever seen. The worst giant monster movie I've ever seen is actually the worst movie I've ever seen, and it actually is connected to this movie, and I will be reviewing that. And some of you may know what that movie is. If you don't already, I'm not going to say, because I'm actually going to review that tomorrow, I think. But anyways, check out Yongary. It's pretty easy to find, and this was cheap. This DVD cost me like $6, I think, off of Amazon. Fell on the floor, but I don't care. Yongary gets a 3. It's just average. It's pretty good, but not great, and it's not terrible either. It's worth your time if you're willing to invest in it. Maybe I'll watch it again and see if I can get a better liking for it, but I might just think it gets even stupider. And I think the guys from Mr. Scientist Theater 3000 riffed on it. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. I should know that. It definitely seems like a movie that they would have riffed. It's my favorite show of all time. I don't know how I don't know if they riffed that or not. That I feel embarrassed. I haven't seen every Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie. I mainly caught them on TV when I was a kid, and I'm rebuying them when I was older. So it's my favorite show, but I haven't seen everything of it yet. But I hope to one day. My one buddy's actually helped me out with seeing all those. And I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't do a riff on Konga, because that's riffing gold. But anyways, Yongary, worth adding to your collection, worth watching. Get the double DVD, because even though Konga is terrible, it's hilarious, and Yongary is definitely worth watching. Just don't go into it expecting much. Take care.